Hey there, Sean Bailey, and welcome to this video. Today, I want to ask you a quick question. What's your number one question about how to launch your sales funnel? And I want to do a little exchange here. I want you to answer that question for me. I'm going to give you some value, and then you go answer that question for me. It's going to take you about 7.5 seconds to answer that question for me. I want to collect some information because I don't want to assume what people want to know anymore. I want people to tell me what's up so that the next big training that I make is completely tailored for what people want. So I need some feedback, if you wouldn't mind. So I'm going to give you something first so that you can give something back to me. So way back when I was first starting out with the whole online business thing and learning about how to sell products to people and learning about how it all comes together. One of the things, big lessons that was imparted on me was speak to the conversation already going on in your prospect's mind. I was like, ooh, that's good. That's really good. But I was like, I don't know how to do that. So how do I do that? How do I speak to the conversation already going on in my prospect's mind? So it took me a while to actually figure this out as far as getting this information and how do I find this out. But one of the ways, because I found out multiple ways to do this, but one of the ways that I really like to do, especially when it comes to finding out the conversation and collecting some sales copy, because people are always like, well, what do I say? What do I write? So this kind of is a two-in-one. I think that you'll dig this. So here's how you can kind of get to the conversation already going on in your prospect's mind. Okay, so here we are over in Amazon. I was just kind of like, okay, what market or niche or whatever to talk about, and then in the list it was just like intermittent fasting. It's harder to say than it is to talk about, but intermittent fasting. So I went in, and there's a whole lot of books about intermittent fasting. I've kind of heard about it. I didn't know that it was like blowing up this big here. So the great thing about this, as far as a market, when they talk about get into a red ocean where there's already people are exchanging money already versus like a place where people are not and trying to create your own ocean. This is definitely one of them. So as far as this is a great place to start. So this is awesome because there's tons of reviews on here, and that's what we want. So what we do is we go into the customer reviews, and where it lets you go into the reviews, you want to go into what you want is the 1 star and the 2 star. Go with those. So we click on the 1 star reviews, and we want to go down and basically look for what people didn't like about this stuff, right? So here we see, I've kind of scanned through this a little bit just to make this a little bit quicker for you, but here you can see he talks about the author repeats himself over and over. I was disappointed with the lack of scientific studies to support his statements. So he says studies suggest. So what I found as far as a theme throughout here is that people want data, like scientific backed up data as far as studies. So this guy went light on the data, so that's a good one. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to go in and I use a tool called AirStory, and I'll just turn it on up top here. So then when I highlight stuff, all I have to do is fire up AirStory, and you can see it saves it as like a little, just like it's kind of like copying and pasting, but if you've ever used, I think OneNote is kind of like this. But basically, it lets me save these chunks, and I can tag them. So for this one, right, this is going into like keto. I could talk about, or I could say problems, right? I'm tagging stuff here with problems, and I'm saving this in a project called Keto Information. So I'm just going to hit save. So I'm going to save that chunk. And then I just move on and find the next kind of one that I want to save here. So let's see. Constant repetition of spotty research. So again, spotty research. Like people want good facts on this. So the next one that we go along here, same advice repeated several times. We saw that before. No recipes. Interesting. No recipes. So you know what? I'm going to take this little chunk. Boom. Start highlighting. Done. And again, I just tag this however I want. This could be problems. And we save it. So I'm just getting chunks here. So this was just to show you as far as this one. Now we go over to another one here. So we see 1,000 reviews. Awesome. So let's go to a 1 star and see what people have to say. This one's about a specific author. I guess he's done this book before, but they're just saying that it was really very much the same as the other one. Didn't have new stuff. So yeah, only 20 pages that were almost actually helpful. So as far as this, like I could take just this chunk, and that's just kind of like one snippet. So even little bits like that is just going to add to it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get these chunks of problems, complaints, things that didn't like about these things that were out there in my market, and I'm going to collect that. And then I'm going to have all these just gobs of copy that I can work with. And you're going to see it gets even better here because I've already kind of gone through, but I just wanted to show you. Let's see. I did get a few ideas on the links of fast. Okay. I did read through it regardless and got a few ideas on the links of fast. So people like to know the lengths of fasting. Like maybe there's different things that you could talk about there, right? This is what people want to know. So you can just throw this in and address this and just make, just custom make your product and get the copy at the same time, right? So if we go through this one, oh yeah, this chunk here. So here we see 64 and diabetic. So 64-year-old diabetic tells a horror story about intermittent fasting. And here it says, if you Google high blood pressure and intermittent fasting, you'll find this happening to many people. So you can go and just like take this and just slightly alter the copy. Everyone knows if you Google high blood pressure from intermittent fasting, you'll find out that it's potentially killing people. But people are desperate to change a lifetime of bad habits by ceasing to eat, right? You can see like you can just take the copy right from this, and as far as speaking to the conversation going on in someone's head, there's the conversation. They just laid it out for you. This one here. Yep, save this text to AirStory. Boom, done. We could talk about this as far as maybe emotional problem, right? Maybe we've got like different levels to this. So we say emotional problem, and boom, save. So now we've added this to the rest of our project in AirStory. And like I said, OneNote, there's other ways you can do it. You could just copy and paste this text into like a Word document if you wanted. But AirStory is free, and it just lets you organize it a lot better than doing it like that way there. So we go, so that was just page one. So boom, we go through we got lots, 43 one-star reviews. So, wasn't much to learn. All information can be found on the internet. So there we go. We could say something about this is information that you cannot Google and search anywhere else, right? As far as pulling your copy from it. Doesn't give enough science. People want lots of science, right? Talk about trials. If you've got examples, we have more science and examples than anyone else in jam-packed into this book, right? Right on the cover, something like that. I don't know. This is getting too easy. I think I might have to go into the intermittent fasting niche because this is how you pull out the stuff that makes your stuff irresistible to read and people want it. So we see what else. What are the complaints? Wasn't complete at all. Gathers the science but doesn't really go out of the way much to help you fast. Let's see. We'll just do one more page on this and maybe a couple more tabs and then we'll skip along here. But let's see. Book could have been a third of the size. Redundant information. So here we go. Zero redundant information in this book. Random blurbs. So instead of random blurbs, like get like deeper stories, right? Get people to know these people as far as, yep, I did this. I've been intermittent fasting for 6 months. Here's my results. Here's my before. Here's my after. My name is George Smith. I live in wherever. And make it personal. Whoa! So here we go. This person put a big chunk in here. So not enough tips. Oh my God! Seems to be more suited for child-free couples. So do you have how to integrate intermittent fasting if you have kids? How to make sure that it works at first and forever. Let's see. What to do if you really like drinking coffee. How to avoid hair loss, or have you heard about intermittent fasting hair loss? Well, the things that we have here will make sure that that doesn't happen. That's terrible copy, but you get what I'm talking about here. This person just laid it out for you in like big chunks of bullets. Boom, go here, save text to AirStory. So here we go. Right, you see how much data, how much stuff you could get here? Emotional problem. Yeah, we can leave it in here. Let's take this out, and we'll just call this problem again. Hit save. It's in our project. But here, in like an hour, how much copy I can get. And then, like I say, you will just have pages and pages of copy. And it is way better to have all that and just cut away the chunks that you don't need, strip it down to a wonderful chunk of sales message that speaks to the conversation in people's heads. because of what they've laid out here in these types of reviews. And this is Amazon. You can go to other places as far as getting this type of info or product reviews. People are going to have info about that. So we go in here. This one's got 196 reviews. Again, we go to the 1 stars. I think we did this one actually. Let's go to intermittent fasting for women. So 22 reviews. We'll go see. No 1 stars in that one. So we want to go to ones with lots of reviews, let's try this one. D4, no 1 star. So you see the ones where there are thousands of reviews, you go to the 1 stars, you're going to get a lot of stuff on here, and then yeah, you're going to have page after page of it. So just go through and just pull that information from it, the complaints from it, and you get those ones where it's like a big paragraph or someone takes a lot of time because they were really unhappy with it. So those are the people, that's the stuff there is the gold for you right there as far as the conversation and the sales copy that you need to throw into your stuff and make it happen there. So I hope you like that tip. I hope that helps you out there. And that you got some value from that learning there. And please, if you wouldn't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you could go over, tell me what your number 1 question is about launching your sales funnel. Go take 7.5 seconds. Do that for me, and I will see you in the next video.